Today we're looking at American composer John Adams, not the president, but the composer. He wrote this fun little tune called Short Ride in a Fast Machine. I wrote it in 1986, one of his more popular works. It's also known as Fanfare for the Great Woods because he wrote it for a festival back east, and it was premiered in the area of New York called the Great Woods. It would be considered post minimalism. It features rhythmic consistency and variation. You're going to hear a wood block that plays every other beat on the quarter note, and the meter changes a whole bunch. So the part that the wood block plays is not always beat 1 and 3. Sometimes it's 1, 3, and 6, or sorry, 1, 3, and 5, or 2 and 4. It shifts, but everything underneath it, it stays the same. Everything underneath it shifts. It's pretty clever. He won a Pulitzer Prize for music. In 2003, he wrote a piece commemorating 9/11 called On the Transmigration of Souls. And that was a pretty big thing. He studied clarinet through high school and college. He attended Harvard University and got all his music degrees there, and has since moved to San Francisco and makes that his home. He often works with the San Francisco Symphony and conductor Michael Tilson Thomas. He has also written a bunch of operas, 7 of them, in fact. His most well-known opera is called Nixon in China, and it's about the first time a U.S. sitting president, Richard Nixon, visited communist China, because that was kind of a watershed moment in history. And so why not write an opera about it? Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. He also wrote one about a guy in a wheelchair getting kidnapped and thrown into the Mediterranean Ocean. Yeah, that was a thing that happened too. Interesting composer. This is a really fun piece of music. I hope someday to be able to either perform or conduct it. It's on my bucket list.
Well, Short Ride in a Fast Machine has become my C-sharp minor prelude, or my Barber Adagio for strings. Is a piece that gets done a lot. And of course, every composer's grateful to have a hit. I certainly didn't ever expect that would be the case.
I commissioned the piece. It was for a summer festival being given by the Pittsburgh Symphony outside of Boston, which was starting that year. And I wanted there to be a powerful opening fanfare kind of piece. It would really kick things off. And by this time, I knew Shaker Loops and Harmonie Lehre, and I thought, well, John's the perfect person for this.
Michael called me, and he asked me to do a fanfare. And the sort of traditional fanfare with blaring trumpets, it didn't really appeal to me. And then the idea of how do you write a fanfare for a full orchestra when Copland's already done it so well? And I thought about it, and for some reason, the connection with Cape Cod came to my mind, because years before that, I had been with a former brother-in-law, and he'd asked me at about 1 in the morning if I'd like to take a ride in his Lamborghini. And I did, and I wished I hadn't once he started up, because he drove very, very fast. But the idea of a piece that had that combination of excitement and thrill and just on the edge of anxiety or terror was the motivating force for that. The piece starts with the click of a wood block, and that wood block never changes. It just keeps driving, and it's sort of like a gauntlet through which a 100-piece orchestra has to pass. The brass play. Fanfare figures, I guess they're more like what one would call a tattoo. It's a pop, pop, ba-da, pop, ba-da, pop, ba-da, pop, 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 pop. And the orchestra has to constantly focus and be very, very, very concentrated. I think it's really important that when you compose for orchestra that you have everybody in mind. That's one of the reasons why orchestra players love to do Mahler, because everyone feels that they're an important part of the organism, and Mahler gives everybody something to do. I thought when I first heard it that it would never become a pops piece or a popular piece or the sort of piece that would appear on children's concerts, because it was just too damn hard. But 25, 30 years later, now that I'm old and gray, I see musicians have come up with this piece. They've heard it when they were kids. They learned it when they were in high school. They play it all the time now. So, and now there's even an arrangement of it for junior high band.
That certainly is an exciting piece of music. I'd love to get that and perform it with our high school group sometime. I think that would be a real kick. All right, we have one more. Next week, we're going to look at a concerto written for water. Chinese composer Tan Dun, the Water Concerto. Stay tuned. This one is really fascinating. See you next week for our last one. Bye-bye.